The number one way to inspire change in someone's life is by sharing your story. Imagine if your story was the one in a million that someone desperately needs to hear. I'm Devin Schubert, and I'm on a mission to share 1 million stories across social media. And I want your story. It's time to take your story to the stage. And now, here's one of those stories.
Well, hello. Nice to meet you. My name is Tanya Scott, and I have a few minutes to talk to you about you. Yes, you. Yeah, I'm going to weave my story in there a little bit. But more importantly, is I have a message for you. I'm certain of it because you came to this channel. And so I'm going to give you what you came for. So who am I? That's a question I've asked all my life, my whole life. Who am I? Maybe it's the same one you've been asking yourself as well. Who doesn't and how often? Who am I? Well, I'm someone who lived in highs and the lows and the depths of pain throughout my life. Someone who's seen how fame, faith, and family can really collide, and yet somehow love still finds a way to rise. No question about it. My life has been a masterclass. Did I say masterclass? In transformation. I mean it. Wait until you hear. What I've learned in this incredible life of mine, no matter what you've been through, you can't lose what God has already put inside you. Period. You can't lose it. It's yours. It's your gift. He gave it to you. And that's where my story begins. Childhood. How did I grow up? Oh boy, I grew up in a country, America, where it was very nostalgic time in the 50s and 60s. And this is a time when families were rising up. They were growing. I came from a family of 6. And then, of course, there were 6. Some kids had 10 kids in their family, etc., etc. But we were living in a country that shifted from segregation to integration to inclusion. My parents were extraordinary parents. They grew up in the ghetto, and my father became a famous athlete in Canada and broke a lot of barriers in the Canadian Football League, and he holds some fantastic records still today. And for my mom, she was the first woman in her family to go to college and to rise in corporate America as well. Boy, what a teacher. You know, to the outside world, we look like life was so glamorous, and the home and the cars and the entertainment and the parties. But behind the scenes, behind that spotlight, there were tensions, pressure, and a kind of volatility that success can hide, but never heal. Here's what I know for sure. Still, even as a little girl, I knew I was different. You too, I'm certain. I could feel people. I can sense their stories. I had a capacity to help people all the time. Just my heart. My heart felt a calling for a lot of people. And I literally, if you can remind yourself, or if you guys remember this character called Lucy, in the 2nd grade, I was Lucy. I had a little stand on the playground at recess. People would come and pay me 25 cents for advice, and I'd help them out. It was crazy. And that lasted from 2nd grade to 5th grade. And I was making a lot of money. It was fantastic. But who knew? I didn't know I was a coach then. I was helping kids not get bullied, help kids see themselves. At 8 years old, can you imagine? I could see then the truth in others that couldn't see. I didn't even know the word coach, to be honest. Back then, all I knew is I just want to help people. Little did I know that was already inside me. That was a seed already planted by God inside me. And that was my first calling to my heart that said, and it whispered, you are here to help heal people. Wow, what a gift. And of course, all of this comes together now. I didn't know that at 8 years old. I didn't know that at 20. I didn't know it at 25, 30. Really, to be honest. I just kept living my life and going through the experiences. But as my father's fame grew, so did the storms at our home. The shouting, the anger, the walking around on eggshells, it was not a pretty sight. There's a lot of emotional trauma and physical too. I learned early that you can have everything and still feel unsafe. Imagine that. And some of you I know are in that place now. Then the unthinkable happened. My father, my hero, who I loved so deeply and profoundly, my mother killed him in front of me. I was just 14, 2 days before my 15th birthday. Watching my dad fall to the ground and having him die in my arms, never forget it. That moment broke me for a moment, and then God planted seeds inside me that said, my life is for a purpose. And I made a vow to protect myself and to protect others. But not all my protection was holy, you guys. It just wasn't. I performed, I overachieved, I had to be the first of everything. I hustled, I had a lot of anger, but nobody knew I was just the nicest person on the planet. And deep down, I was searching not for success, really, honestly, but I was looking for peace. I was looking for love. I was looking for acceptance. And you know that movie, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, looking for love in all the wrong places? Kind of. That was me. It sure was. I mean, I was the classic people pleaser. But out of that came God's grace on my life. In my quest to heal, I became a teacher pouring into young minds. I then went into corporate America and to pour into adult minds, even though I had so much fun running sales and managing, systems and so forth. It was fantastic. I worked for a small company, Coca-Cola, for a lot of years, and it was fantastic. I was a national account executive. And long before that, after that, I became an entrepreneur. Taco Bells. I bought 22 Taco Bells and in 15 years grew it to 60. Stop it. Who does that? Who does that from tragedy to triumph? It was all exhilarating and yet very exhausting. Why? Because emotionally I was still healing. Emotionally I was still anger. And every role that I took, entrepreneur, being a teacher and so forth, I wasn't really, at that time, I wasn't really building a business. I didn't know I wasn't building a business. What I really was doing is helping people build themselves, which was fantastic. What trauma had taught me was empathy. Pain became my PhD in purpose and grace. Purpose and grace. And grace and grit became my superpower. I realized that God didn't waste a thing. I had gone through what I've gone through. He was training me to become the most masterful coach on planet, an incredible mentor, a beautiful healer. And here I am today, helping leaders and visionaries and believers and non-believers too, to rediscover this truth, that love is not found in achievement. It's found in alignment. Alignment. Pause, think about that for a minute. Alignment as opposed to achievement. Who are you? What are you called to do? So why should you care about my story? Because maybe like me, you wore the mask or the badge of, I'm fine. I built this empire, but I lost pieces of me. I lost myself inside of it, but I'll be okay. But really, are you okay? You chased significance and still came up empty. while starving. You know what you're starving for: the stillness, the peace, the love, the unconditional love for yourself, as well as what you can give to others. And you know, you can't give anybody anything that you don't possess yourself. So the more love you give inside yourself, the more you'll receive. You know this. Remember who you are. You are born for this. You are enough already. You are already chosen. You are already loved. But don't hear it from me. You heard my story, and that's just bits and pieces of it. The heartbeat of my work today is to remind you, all of you, that healing is holy, that success can be sacred, and that no matter how far you've fallen, and Lord knows I've fallen a few times, there's always, always a way back. Because why? Because God has his hand reaching you and touching you and wanting to be with you every moment of your life. So lift up. I wish you lots of wonderful, wonderful ways of being. I stand before you as a master certified coach, a woman who has led thousands of people across the globe to ignite their authentic self unapologetically in transformation. And yet at my core, guess who I am? I'm still that little girl on that playground, listening, loving, and helping people find their truth deeply and profoundly. Because after all, everything that I've learned, everything about love, real love, is an inside job. Which, by the way, I have a course. Love is an inside job. Of course, that's for later though. So wherever you are, whatever you're walking through, know this. Know this. You can and will rise again. You can and will reinvent yourself. And you can become everything God imagined he would make you to be, and the thought of you to be. You can do this. You can. And if my story proves anything, it's that your pain can become the platform for your message and for your purpose. Thank you for spending your time with me and listening. Again, my name is Tanya Scott, and I am so grateful to be who I am for you and for me. See you. Bye-bye.